Hi everyone, this is Donna from Clever Crafting. Thank you so much for joining me today. So today we are making one of these beautiful waterfall cards. I'm sure most of you have seen these before, so this is my take on them. You can see that this has got a lovely smooth action. I've actually chosen to have 4 images for my waterfall, but you could have 3 or 5 or however many you want. This is the card that we're making with these lovely little squares that are from this month's card making kit. You can see that on the back of this one I have got some greetings, hop hop hoppy Easter, which makes that a little bit interesting. And this one, of course, you can see that I have used a bouquet of flowers. So these are the same process to make all of these. I've used the squares on this one, and I've just popped the flowers on the top rather than the other little images, these lovely bits of ephemera. So to get started, we're going to need an A6 card base. Then we're going to need a matte layer, which is about 1/2 centimetre smaller all round. I use my number 2 rectangle for that, metric rectangle. And you can see that I've cut the centre piece out. I've got 4 pieces of black, which are 2 inches by 2 inches or 5 centimetres by 5 centimetres. And these little flower images that'll go on the front, and they are about 4.5 centimetres by 4.5 centimetres. The black strip is 21 centimetres by 4.5 centimetres, and the tiny little black strip is 10 centimetres by just over a centimetre. So to get started, wait a minute, I'm going to show you the rest of the tools first. So the only other tools that we will need today is a scoring board, or you could use a ruler and a bone folder. You'll also need a bone folder and some glue. So I'm just going to glue these smaller pieces onto the black background pieces. So you can use anything that you've got in your stash. I actually stamped these, colored them in, and then cut them out with the die that comes with it, and they were the perfect size. So happy days. I did all 4, decided you probably didn't really need to watch me glue all of those on. So now we're going to work with our larger strip. So remembering that this is 21 centimetres by 4.5 centimetres. I will have all of the measurements down below in the description box. I've got the 21 centimetre piece, the 21 centimetre edge along the top, and I'm scoring at 4 centimetres and 5 centimetres, excuse me, at 6 centimetres, at 7 centimetres, and at 8 centimetres. Now I'm actually putting 4 images on this, so I've done 5 score lines. If I was putting 6 pieces on there, I would put 7 score lines. So it's always 1 more than what you're putting on. If I was putting 3, I would have 4 score lines. Now this part is very important when you're making this card. This is really reinforcing those fold lines. So I fold it, use my bone folder on it to reinforce it, fold it, use my bone folder again. I do this 2 or 3 times on each fold. The reason being is that the more supple these folds are, the better your waterfall mechanism will be. So I actually had to re-record this because this part was missing out of my first video. So if it looks slightly different, you'll know why. So I've got my piece that's 10 centimetres long by just over a centimetre deep. And I'm going to attach it to the smaller section of my larger strip. So this is where this part that I'm attaching it to is about 4 centimetres by 4.5 centimetres. And you can see that what I'm doing is I'm folding this strip around one edge, and then I am going to just move it away a little bit. So I've pulled this up higher, closer to the camera so I can see. So I've just pulled that away a little bit from that edge. And then I'm going to fold the other side over. This is because I need a little bit of wriggle room in this, and you'll see why soon. So now that's fine, and you can see that it just overlaps at the back. I'm now going to take that piece off and unfold it. And I'm going to pop some glue on the inside of that fold, in that folded section in the middle. I think that got a bit confusing then, but I've just used those fold marks, the 2 fold marks that are on that strip, as a guideline, and I'm just putting glue on the middle, and I'm going to try and center that on that piece. It doesn't have to be in the center horizontally, but the center vertically. And it can be closer to the bottom if you like, but wherever it is on that piece, it's not really going to matter. It's not an issue. I'm just making sure that that's glued well. Excellent. So we are now going to attach our images. Now you can see that I've got my first fold line, which is at which was originally the one at the 4 centimeter mark, and then I've got my next fold line, which was originally at the 5 centimeter mark, and I am putting glue between those two fold lines, and I'm going to grab my illustration that's on the 5 centimeter by 5 centimeter black piece, and I'm going to line it up with the fold line. Get rid of the excess glue. Of course, I've always got excess glue. Once I've done that, I'm going to do the same with the next section. So the next section, I'm going to put glue in, and I'm going to line the next image up there. You need to do that for all 4 images. I did skip a couple there because, once again, I didn't feel that you probably needed to watch me do all of that. It can be a little bit laborious and boring, I guess. Although it's not when you're making it. It's awful fun when you're making it. Too much glue again from Donna. Okay, so now that that's all complete, you can see that what I've done there is I've taken the long piece and I've folded it back. So that should be right on that last fold line that we have. So that piece has got to fold back flat against the back of it. And then we're going to put those 2 little flaps around. Now I'm going to open this up and show you again. So from the back, you can see that that's the last fold line, the score mark and the fold that we did. We have folded that back over onto itself. And now we are just going to glue these 2 pieces together. Now, originally I'm thinking I'm going to put the smaller piece over the larger piece, but then change my mind and put the longer piece over the shorter piece. Now, we've got to be careful with the glue here. And actually, my friend Karen said you're probably better off using double-sided tape there, and you might be, because then it won't spill out all over the place. Because you'll see here that what I'm going to do is just show you, you need to make sure that that does not stick on the piece underneath, that you can put something between that band and the piece that you folded back. All right, now I'm back to the original one, and I'm just trimming off the bottom, which I did I will have to do for the new one that I did as well. I'm just going to sort of mark the center. That's about 4.5 centimeters. So I'm doing that at about 2.25 centimeters, which is probably really too precise. You don't have to be this precise. I am just a bit funny like that. And I'm measuring up 1 centimeter on either side. I'm just using my pencil to make a tiny little notch at these points, because what I'm going to do, and you'll see in a moment, is I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm just going to cut from that center dot, excuse me again, to those 1 centimeter dots on either side. That'll give me a nice little arrow kind of thing, banner end. I'm just going to get rid of the pencil mark. Now I've grabbed my awl, or my pokey tool, which is, you know, the sharp little thing that we use all of the time. And I am just going to poke a hole. Now I think that that's probably about 1 centimeter, or not quite 1 centimeter up from the bottom, because I don't want it to put too much pressure on the bottom of my card there and rip it. So I made a little bow. I used the fork technique, and you can see that I've got a little bit of ribbon at the back as well. And I just poked a hole through the bow and popped a little pink brad in there. And I'm just putting that brad through that ribbon at the back. Now that piece that I folded over the ribbon in the back, I also glued to make sure it didn't come apart. I've popped that through the little hole that I've made on the card, and here's my technical thing. Grab the end of your scissors, give it a bit of a whack, and it'll make it nice and flat. Now this is the only part of the video that I have sped up, just doing around this part to just show you that all I'm doing is gluing my lovely piece of paper that also comes in the this month's kit onto the frame, which is looking like a matte piece, but I'm not wasting all of that cardstock. And I'm going to stick that onto my card base. And now I'm going to pop my piece on there. So once again, we've got to make sure, I'm just letting you know that this is the strap, that band that we're going to put glue just on that piece, and I've just got to take a second to decide where I want it. I'm going to put this one over on the side, so that will give me room for a greeting. So when I said earlier that I haven't added greetings to these, it's because I don't know what occasion I will use these for, obviously except for the one with the Easter eggs, because these ones could be used for any occasion. And look how beautifully that runs now. It's a great waterfall card. It's nice and easy to make, and they're so much fun. I'm sure that you will find yourself having so much fun making a lot of these, and it's perfect for using up extra bits and pieces of ephemera that you might have in your home, in your stash. So I'd like to thank you once again for joining me. Please feel free to subscribe and to like my video if you enjoyed it. I'll put a link below to our Facebook group so you'll see a lot of other versions of this card. And until next time, stay safe and happy crafting.